Hey, what's up? It's Tati back with another review of this time AEW All Out. And would you believe me if I say not one match here was bad? I wouldn't score anything below like a B. Everything was pretty great. Well, the pre-show, the only thing I didn't like was the trios match. Other than that, the other two matches were fine. The trios match with the girls was great. And also they had a battle royal match. Whoever wins get $50,000 to donate to a charity of their choice. So even that was great. Hangman Adam Page ended up winning that, which seemed to be pretty obvious before the match even started that he was going to end up winning, but I still ended up enjoying that match anyway. Now, first match of the night, which kind of surprised me, MJF, Adam Cole versus the Dark Order, John Silver, and what's his name, Alex Reynolds. Very early on in the match, we have MJF who was complaining of neck pain, and he's been complaining about this since All In as well, but I believe it was like after the show he was complaining about it during the interview. Now, he's complaining about it, and it seems to be bothering him throughout this match. So then we have a part of this match where he is just feeling really hurt, and he's laying down outside the mat. And the referees are looking at him, the doctors are looking at him, and he is just screaming and yelling in pain, and they ended up removing him from that match. So now it's pretty much a handicap match with Adam Cole and the Dark Order. And when I say handicap match, I mean also Evil Uno, who's not in this match, grew some balls and was interfering several times throughout this match. So throughout this match, we really get a chance to see Dark Order become even more of a heel. People were booing them to hell, and I really enjoyed that. I like seeing the character development of these guys. We're going to see bigger and better things with Dark Order, at least I hope. Now, Adam Cole, he's doing his very best so he can hold things down for his team, but it is just not working out. And MJF actually comes back to help out. He's pretty much holding his neck the whole time. They end up giving us a double clothesline like everyone wants from the very beginning, and they end up retaining the titles, and I absolutely enjoy that. Now, onto something very interesting. When MJF is walking towards the back, walking on the ramps towards the back, Samoa Joe is over it with all this foolishness, and he's ready to have his match. So he comes out and he's walking down to the ring, and he passes MJF and pushes him. And MJF is mad as hell. Joe actually laughs and walks into the ring. And MJF decides he's going to go over there and just start throwing blows at Samoa Joe. And he actually goes in the ring and they start fighting for a while. And we do have like 50 million staff that come out and keep them together and actually keep them from continuing to fight. So that was very interesting to see that MJF and Samoa Joe got something going on. I wonder if Samoa Joe's gonna, want to go for the Triple B later on. I don't know what it is, but it was a really cool moment. Very great opener for the show. I actually really enjoyed this pay-per-view from top to bottom. So next we have the ROH TV title on the line, Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor. This was another really great match, and at times it felt almost like a boxing match. These guys are just throwing straight up soup bones at each other, and I absolutely enjoyed that. Now, while this was short, well, more on the shorter side, I think it's a little bit more acceptable because it's Samoa Joe. Usually he comes in the ring and he gets the job done quickly. But this was longer than than most of the matches that I've seen Joe have in a really long time. So I do think that we got a chance to see a lot of great moments from Shane Taylor. I would have wanted a couple of more minutes here from both of these guys, but obviously Samoa Joe ends up retaining. And I'm telling you, no matter what Samoa Joe does, he's a complete badass. And it's almost crazy that someone as big as Shane Taylor, who can hold his own as well, getting those chants, Joe's going to kill you, is so surreal. But I really did enjoy this. Now, up next, we did have Darby Allin with Luchasaurus. Another great match. Like I said, I wanted Luchasaurus to win this. I felt like he really needed this win. I know Christian is getting a lot of the spotlight when it comes to being the TNT champion right now, but I feel like Luchasaurus should be able to show that he is deserving of holding that title as well. So this was a total beatdown for Darby Allin. And every time it seems like Darby Allin's getting back on his feet, Luchasaurus just fucking decimates him even more. I really like this showing of Luchasaurus. No squash match. Somebody that he can actually be in the ring like Darby Allin. And you know, Darby, he's willing to do anything in the ring no matter what. And that also helps make Luchasaurus look strong as well. We do have Nick Wayne, who's ringside, and also Christian, who's ringside as well. And he actually comes to the ring holding the title on his shoulder. So there's no surprise there. Yeah, we do get some interference here, but I do think Luchasaurus looks strong. Even Darby Allin looks strong here as well. He's given us a typical, but this was really something for Luchasaurus. So I'm really glad that Luchasaurus was able to retain. To be honest, I would not want to see Darby Allin holding a TNT title. Matter of fact, he seems pretty banged up, and maybe he should take a few weeks off. Up next, we had Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I was so nervous for this. And can you believe, after this match, they got a standing ovation? This was really, really good. I thought this was going to be on the shorter side. I didn't think, well, I don't want to say Hobbs would have jobbed or whatever, but I just felt like we would have seen some good stuff from him, but Miro was going to take the win. Now, the match was going along a lot longer than I anticipated, and the crowd is behind it 100%. To be honest, I felt like, okay, Miro's going to take this win, but I really have a little soft spot for Powerhouse Hobbs. He's someone that I feel like AEW has dropped the ball on time and time again. We really got a great showing from both of these guys, and they really put their all in this. But ultimately, we do have Miro on his second game over, ends up getting the win here over Powerhouse Hobbs. And I'll be honest, despite Hobbs losing, he looks fucking fantastic here. And I'm really hoping that moving forward that AEW finds something creative for him to do, something that's going to show off his skills and something that's going to help put him over, because he's definitely the future of AEW, and I definitely want to see much bigger and better things for him. Now, surprisingly enough, after this match, like I said, they get a standing ovation. They shake hands or whatnot, and Miro seems to be a little hesitant of, you know, taking his hand or whatever, but they shake hands. And yeah, when Miro turns his back, here comes Hobbs attacking Miro. Now, out of the blue, music hit, and it's Miro's wife. In WWE, she was known as Lana, but her name is CJ Perry. She comes out, and she brings a chair, and she's ready to hit Hobbs with it. And Miro ends up, you know, coming back to life, and Hobbs ends up retreating and leaving the ring. Now, interesting with this here is that you're thinking that he's going to be happy to see his wife, and actually he's not. He just seems to be confused, and he kept saying, "You're not real, you're not real," and he ends up leaving her alone in the ring. That's interesting, but I remember, I think one of his first promos that he did when he came back to AEW, he said that he no longer had a god, something about no longer having a wife or whatever, and that makes sense in terms of to why he acted that way with her in the ring tonight. So I'm interested to see where things go, but I'm even more interested to see what they're going to do with Powerhouse Hobbs moving forward. I do not want to see him with QTV and friends at all. So up next, we had the TBS title on the line, Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. And I think it took someone like Ruby Soho to bring the best out of Chris. Now, this is the best match I think Chris has had since she's gotten her hand on this title. Both these girls were phenomenal tonight. We had Saraya, who was ringside. So Toni Storm did not come out with the, Ruby and Saraya. That didn't surprise me since they're seeming to be having some issues. Real talk, Chris looked really great. And I know I've been saying some not so positive things about her lately, but I felt like I'm not really convinced as to why she needed, why she should have had the title to begin with. I know since way back before her injury, it seemed like she was next in line for the TBS title anyway. And it just seems like once she got better with her injury, they gave it to her as planned. Now, Honestly, I still would have preferred Ruby to take the win. I would have liked to see her and Saraya holding the title. Ruby has more personality, and I do prefer Ruby in the ring compared to Chris Statlander. But for finally, Chris sort of impressed me tonight. We got to see really great from her, and I'm hoping she can keep it up moving forward. She does end up retaining thanks to Toni Storm. Now, Toni Storm's been under the ring the whole freaking match, and right when Ruby goes to get the spray paint can to spray it on Chris's eyes, we have Saraya who's distracting the referee. So then here comes Toni Storm running out from under the ring, snatching the can from Ruby. Ruby is shocked and distracted by Toni doing that. So then here comes Chris Statlander taking advantage of the distraction, ends up getting the win. And I was really surprised to see that Toni Storm was coming out from the ring to go help. Not necessarily like she wanted to help Chris, but it was pretty much to get at Ruby and to Saraya. Either way, a really great match, and this is the only match for the women on the main card, and they did a phenomenal job. So on to one of my favorite matches of the night, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus Absolute Pretty Ricky Starks. Now they're having a strap match and it's no DQ. And before the match can even get started, while the referee is just strapping them up, here comes Ricky attacking Bryan, and Bryan is busted up open before the bell even rings. Now, throughout this match, I'm telling you, it's super physical. And if you don't like to see people getting whipped with a strap, then this is definitely not for you. Surprisingly, as physical as this match was, Ricky was barely bleeding, if that was even his own blood, because Bryan was just leaking all over the place and the ring was bloody. I was very nervous watching this after seeing Bryan's last match with Okada. He broke his arm or whatnot. And honestly, I'm not sure how he was cleared. It seemed like having a broken arm, he would have been gone for at least another month or so. But he's back and he seems to be doing better. He did have his arm wrapped up, but it didn't seem to be an issue in this match. Super physical, and at some times it felt a little hard for me to watch because I don't mind wrestling, but once they start adding weapons and things like that, it gets a little more difficult to watch for me. Now, since it's no DQ, you already know somebody is going to get involved. So we do have Ricky, the Dragon Steamboat. He is on commentary throughout this match. And then we have Big Bill, who comes towards the end to come help Ricky. Since it's no DQ, the ref is watching and can't really do anything about it because they can't be disqualified for it. So then Ricky, the Dragon Steamboat, decides he's going to come off commentary and take care of Big Bill. Now, all this stuff doesn't do anything in terms of the match or whatever. Bryan Danielson still ends up winning this match. I really did enjoy this. Ricky Starks, he is so talented. He is absolutely going to be the top star in AEW, and I cannot wait to see it. I know Ricky had his promo yesterday where he kept saying that every time it seems like he's getting somewhere, then he's like taking a few steps back. Tony Khan, this guy is money, and I would be pushing him to the moon. He is absolutely amazing. Bryan Danielson is one of my favorite wrestlers. He's amazing as well, but I do think Ricky Starks really impressed me tonight. He has a bright future ahead of him. Up next, we had Shibata and Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Another great match. I love seeing Shibata in the ring. Everything he does looks so freaking good. Now, honestly, watching this, I kind of wouldn't feel like it was going to be all that. But this is another really great match. Everything on here, I actually recommend to watch. But we know we have issues with Eddie and Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta and Shibata. They've had their little feud months back, but nothing major. Especially compared to Claudio and Eddie. Great teamwork from everybody, and everyone, I believe, shined on their own here tonight as well, and also as partners. We know that the whole story with Eddie and Claudio is not over, especially after this match. For Eddie Kingston to get pinned after a uppercut and lose that was huge. And I know that's going to be a big thing on Eddie's mind. And this is something that's going to drive him nuts. And he's going to feel like, you know what, Claudio, you and me, next pay-per-view, or maybe the pay-per-view after that, I'm not really sure exactly how soon, but the ROH title would be on the line between these two, because I felt like the way that he ended up losing that match is going to get to him, and he's definitely going to be on the lookout for Claudio for that title. Great match. I love seeing Shibata. Once again, I just have to say, this guy is fucking flawless in the ring. And I do want to see that Pure Rules title being defended soon enough, since we've seen quite a bit of ROH representation on this pay-per-view. I'm kind of hoping the next pay-per-view would be the same way too. Either way, excellent match. So on to one of the best matches of the night, Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. Oh my gosh. Almost flawless match between these two. I really wish they had a much more stronger storyline going into this. It was absolutely amazing to see Takeshita in a amazing match like this, since we have not seen Takeshita do anything of importance really in terms of matches go. He's been having a lot of squash matches, and he's actually hardly had any matches since he has turned heel. So it's great to see him at his element, doing what he does best, which is being a phenomenal wrestler. I had lost count at how many knee strikes Takeshita gave Kenny throughout this match. I started counting at first because I was like, oh, we're going to see quite a bit of those. But it was way, way more than I could count. Now, we do have Don Callis, who gets himself into this match by going to attack Kenny with a screwdriver. Kenny happens to move out the way, and the screwdriver just got pierced into the ring. And from there, Takeshita and Kenny kept going at it. And then Takeshita ends up grabbing it and trying to hide it away from the referee. And Kenny lifts him up for a one-winged angel. And he was about to hit Kenny in the head with it. And the referee happens to have 20/20 vision and takes the screwdriver away. But that does not help Kenny Omega anyway, because he ends up taking the loss with a massive knee strike, and Takeshita wins, and he leaves happily with Uncle Don. I'm really glad that they ended it this way. This is what I was hoping that they would do, which was having Takeshita take the win on this. I'm feeling like this is definitely not over, especially since Don Callis tried to get involved in this match once again. So things are probably going to get a little bit more personal, and maybe we'll get something to pick up with this storyline to make it feel much bigger than what we've gotten. Excellent match. God, these two guys are just so amazing. So next we had 8-man tag, Young Bucks, FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. And Jesus Christ, finally, I can say, things look great for Austin and Colton Gunn. They are in the perfect place at the perfect time with Bullet Club Gold. I'm so happy for them that they're being able to be recognized as, you know, great wrestlers. They definitely improved being paired up with Juice and Jay. So I'm really happy for them. With this match, we do have some miscommunication with the Young Bucks and FTR, which I did expect anyway, while we had nothing but perfect chemistry with the Bullet Club Gold. Now, sometimes things were a little bit messy here. You know how it is with these 8-man tags. Sometimes they're trying to just get a lot of shit done back to back to back. And it's just like, whoa, take it down a notch. And then sometimes things just become a little bit more chaotic than it needs to be. And I'm not surprised. The Young Bucks are in this match. Now, I did enjoy everybody here, but I knew Bullet Club Gold, they needed to come on top with this. Absolutely. After everything that they've gone through, the Young Bucks and FTR, they needed this win. And I literally jumped out of my bed when they end up getting the win. I was so happy for them. I don't know what's next for Bullet Club Gold. Maybe they're done with the whole Young Bucks and FTR. I would like to see Jay White doing a little bit more singles action because he's so talented. Juice too as well, but I do think that Austin and Colton, they need a little bit more work for them to get, you know, much more higher on the card. But as a group, they're doing a phenomenal job. And like I said, they needed this win, and I'm so happy they got it. Now let's talk about the main event because I am itching to say what I want to say. Orange Cassidy, you crazy son of a bitch. I always come on here and say how I'm sick and tired of your title reign, but finally I'm going to come on here and give you props. You did the damn thing tonight. And honestly, he's had a really great title reign, to be honest, probably one of the best in AEW, and he's come out and he's had great matches. I'm just not really sold onto his character and just bored with it. Now, Jon Moxley, he comes down to the ring, but before coming down to the ring, he is being hyped up by the BCC, so it's great to see them hyping him up before he comes out there. And then you got Orange Cassidy with the best friends, Chris Statlander, Trent, and Chuck. These motherfuckers ain't saying a word. They're just walking beside him with their tracksuits on, thinking that they look cool, but they're not hyping their bestie up. Like, what the hell's up with that? So anyway, this match was another super physical match. They don't have no straps or anything like that, like Bryan Danielson match with Ricky Starks, but it was super physical. No matter how much Jon Moxley whooped his ass, he counted out of every fucking thing. And to be honest, that made him look super resilient. That made him look like no matter what, he's going to try his best. And real talk, he's been looking real beat up these past few weeks, especially with his back. I do think his back definitely got to be hurt. I don't know about the whole hand injury thing. I'm not sure about that. But it looks like his back and shoulder is definitely hurting. And to be honest, he looked like he needs to take some time off. And that's been really difficult because we've been seeing Orange Cassidy consistently for months, probably without even taking a week off, whether it was singles action or if he's doing trios or whatever the situation is. So although he ended up losing this match, thank God, he needs some time off. And honestly, I'm going to give props to him because he did a phenomenal job in this match and also as the international champion. So, you know, Orange Cassidy, congratulations to you for having a great title reign, but all good things come to an end, and Moxley is our champion. Oh, finally. So now we're going to see bigger and better things with the international title. I am hoping to see Mox defend it outside of AEW as well, which is what I always thought they were going to be doing with the title to begin with. Moxley is a crazy son of a bitch too, you know, but Orange Cassidy has definitely proved himself, especially that promo he had on Rampage was excellent. I do believe that he's going to get rested and come back and he'll move on to doing bigger and better things as well. But you guys, this pay-per-view is absolutely worth the watch. There's nothing on here that made me feel like, let me go to the bathroom, let me go get something to eat. Everything was absolutely great. And Tony Khan, you are so fucking lucky. You have an amazing roster. When you do this lazy ass booking and put shit on last second, those men and women, they show up and show out for you every fucking time. I absolutely love that about them, but you got to do something about the booking. I hate this lazy shit coming up with something a week before, 2 weeks before. Doesn't make sense. We need better and bigger stories going into these pay-per-views, especially if you want these buy rates to go up. People are going to want to feel like it's actually worth getting these pay-per-views. Either way, I absolutely enjoy this. I'm going to watch a few of those matches again. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. If you did not see Go Out, All Out, go and see it. I'll be back on Wednesday with Dynamite. Bye.